All right. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show today. Thanks, Nikki, for being here.
Yeah,
so
thank
awesome.
you.
So,
I love the rock and music.
yeah, it's starting to come a little bit more together. So, welcome to Real Raw Health with your host, Nikki Burnett of Taste Life Nutrition and Matt Rowe of Parsley Pet. During our show, we are talking about your pet's health, raw feeding, and the health our pets bring to us with love. And a little human health as well, because there's not much that we can talk about pet health where we don't dip into the human side of the game. So
yeah, goes together.
Go.
I'm sorry, I was talking. Would you say I interrupted you?
Don't worry about it. I was just welcoming you to the show today. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. No, it's always fun. I always enjoy. This is kind of what I look forward to. I think every week is Real Raw Health, where we can just sit and we can chat about the dogs that we love and have some fun, and hopefully put out a little bit of education and just have some fun with it. So it's good.
I mean, I think when we first started talking about this show is that if we were in a coffee shop and we were chatting together, we would think that the table next to us would be interested in what we were saying, because you and I geek out about the health element side of the game so much.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about allergies.
Yeah. Well, we're coming up on that time of year, right? Yeah. So I think that it's perfect timing, because with us as humans, but as well as with dogs, we have grass allergies, and these dogs, their little feet are itching and they get hot spots. And what is it? I think what a lot of people maybe don't understand is there's something else going on. And so we don't want to just, do the steroids and do the shampoos and cover it up. And because we want to figure out why they're having a reaction. And that's the thing. That's what I always talk about in practice, is always ask why. There's a reason. We got to find it.
No, and that's really getting down to that root cause. I mean, surface level, I can take some Benadryl. I can do something else that, really helps it out. But if I don't know what causes it, how am I going to really make an impact to help my life or my pet's life? If my pet has an allergy to chicken, for example, is it the chicken that is really they're allergic to? Or is there something in the chicken or how the chicken was raised that they're allergic to? So you're really well versed in this. So tell me, really, where do allergies stem from? Let's go back to the beginning. What is our body really reacting to with an allergy?
Well, I think it can be a number of things. It can go as deep as genetics and some histamine intolerances and things like that. It can be infection. It can be leaky gut, and it can be kind of a combination of all of those, where then the body says, okay, it's too much. I can't stand it anymore. And it starts to have this, kind of this constant reaction, right? The constant itching, the constant chewing on our paws. Or with here, this is an interesting example. It's a human example, but it's so, to me, it makes such an impact. It was actually with my mom. And so her entire life, she had allergies, and she was always squirting her nose with stuff and taking Sudafed. And it got so bad that there was a point where she was sitting up in bed because she couldn't breathe. And I just found that to be heartbreaking. I'm like, how do you do this? Yeah. But she didn't know. And at the time, I didn't know. I mean, I knew there was something wrong with it, but I didn't know what to do about it. Well, so when I went to school, she was a case study for me. And we found out, the stories. She kept going to her doctor, and her doctor told her that her thyroid numbers were fine, but they were elevated. But she was like, no, they're fine. They're not that big a deal. And they would go up and down, from 2 to 8 to 4 to 5. And anyway, mom kept telling him, I'm having these weird symptoms. She had a hot flash. She thought it was female hormones and it was thyroid, but that she thought she was going to have to send herself to the emergency room because it was such an intense, awful situation. So anyway, finally we start working together. Sorry for the long story, but
no, I love the story.
Yeah, it's a cool story.
Yeah.
We ended up, I told her, I was like, you have to get your all thyroid numbers checked, the entire panel. We have to look and see what else is going on. Ends up, she had Hashimoto's, and this this hot flash was like a thyroid storm. It's like a Hashimoto storm where it was back and forth, hyper, hypo, hyper, hyper, and it put her in this crazy place. So we ended up, since Hashimoto's, which is autoimmune thyroid, is not a thyroid condition, it's an immune condition. We work on the gut, and we work on her food, and we take out gluten and take out dairy. She called me one day. She said, I just realized that I haven't had to squirt my nose or take Sudafed in months.
Win.
Yeah.
I mean, what you talked about removing is very logical. I mean, when you take a look at what's in gluten now with the glyphosate and all the chemicals and the genetic modification of that grain, your body doesn't know how to digest it. And then you just throw milk on top of it, any dairy product. That's another one.
Yeah. Yeah. So any autoimmune condition, gluten and dairy are the devil. Period. Hands down. Never, ever, ever put it in your mouth. Period. Because you're inflamed, it will create more inflammation. You and I have talked about this. For those who haven't seen it, Matt has had MS and is controlling it and has been controlled through food and health and nutrition for how many years has it been?
4 years now. When they told me I'd be in a wheelchair 3 years ago.
Yeah, so cool. But that's it's the same with dogs. Dogs get leaky gut, cancer, allergies potentially, and I would say if you have a dog or a cat, or yourself, where you react to everything, you're reacting to food, you're reacting to grass, you're reacting to pollen, you've got these hot spots. It's like everything's out of control. What does that mean? The immune system's out of control. Something is happening. You've got to attack it at the source. You got to find out what the source is. Start nourishing that animal, start healing the gut, repairing the gut, and allow the body to start to balance. And a huge part of that is going to be by feeding real food, because if you're feeding kibble, they're not getting nutrients, let alone nutrient density. They're getting chemicals and preservatives and synthetic nutrients and animals that were fed poorly. And so it's just all of these horrible, terrible things that they do to the animals, and they feed to the animals. And then our animals, or our home animals, their little bodies can't take it. They just can't take it.
Oh, absolutely. And, you take that another step further. Is we got a couple blog posts that we're going to have coming out here over the next month that really takes a look at how our food is grown on one level, and then how our animals are eating that food that is being grown. And I think we are just adding a layer of toxin into the actual animal that our animals eat. I mean, fact remains, our dogs are carnivores, and they need meat. So that means that they're getting that meat from a source, either from a feedlot, from something where the cow in its last 30 to 45 days of life are getting fattened up with chemicals and food that, if I even told you half the stuff that what a cow is allowed to eat in a feedlot, it'd turn your stomach. But then our animals, and case in point, us, we eat that meat. And as a result, that meat is basically has toxins laced within it. So I read something, not to find the article, but it was about a month ago, where they were talking about allergies to chicken. And we hear this a lot with when we do testing. We hear a lot of questions that come back. Is this going to test for my dog being allergic to chicken? Well, our test doesn't test allergies and those allergic reactions. But at some level, as we support you through that, we're taking a look at what the chicken eats. Because our dog is eating that chicken. So what gets caught in the meat and in the joints is a corn byproduct, because that's what they're feeding the chickens and in the hen houses. When they have these gigantic 10,000 square feet facilities that are housed chickens floor to ceiling in little shoe boxes, and running them down a conveyor and just feeding them this chicken byproduct or this corn byproduct, we're essentially at some point slowly poisoning the food that our animals consume. So looking at the source of the food or where you get it from, I think is critically important,
Mhm.
to where I think a backyard chicken that's eating bugs in a way a chicken that should be eating, because chickens are little, for lack of a better term, little bastards. I mean, they eat themselves. They will eat you mice that run into their pen. I mean, they are
Everything.
omnivores through and through.
Yeah, they are not vegetarians.
No. But this
They're
is
not
what we feed
vegetarians.
our chickens, and then we expect ourselves and also our pets to thrive from that type of
Mhm.
environment and that type of food that they're consuming.
Yeah.
And I think it's directly related to how we feed our animals. And yes,
Mhm.
okay, we're mass producing chickens because there's a lot of us that eat chicken and there's a lot of requirements. But what is the difference between them eating corn and eating a cricket mix?
Yeah.
Because they can raise crickets or other great that they can actually supply um, everything that's actually going through and what the actual chicken is getting. They can keep up with that capability. So yeah, and allergies, and what I've read for about allergies too, is allergies, you're really allergic to the protein
Yeah.
that you are eating
Mhm.
in regards to that.
Yeah. Yeah, but you still, yeah, absolutely. I think most allergies are created by the protein in whatever the food is. So if you take the protein out, like ghee, right? Most people don't have a reaction to ghee if they are sensitive or allergic to dairy because the protein's been taken out of it.
Yep.
Um, um, but still, it's why are you reacting and why are you
Right.
reacting so severely? And it's a fine line too, I think, because some people just react, and I've not gone back to people, but some people just react to dairy, and it's just the way
Yeah.
we're made, because genetically a lot of us don't have the ability to utilize or to digest or to absorb dairy, so there's a reaction to it, and genetically we have polymorphisms that give us the potential, not in a good way, but it does, to be sensitive to gluten. And so, a lot of it's just who we are. But when there's these multiple sensitivities, multiple allergies, and you can just see when a body's on fire, human or canine. When you
Yep.
see, I have my best friend actually. She has a lab. He's 16 and still kicking, and was raised on kibble until he was probably 14, maybe 15, something like that. So his entire life. And we would talk about it, and I would tell her, and she's watching, she'll go, she told me. But finally, I mean, the poor thing was on steroids, and you could just
Yep.
see how miserable. He's always chewing on his little feet and his ears, and
Yeah.
he was constantly inflamed. You could see it on him, the redness, and just my heart. And then he started having pancreatitis attacks. And so this is chronic pancreatitis.
Right.
Now, though, which that's kind of what sent her over the edge, she called me up. She's like, Nikki, I need you to help me. I need you to tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
so we talked about it, and his itching is fine, is better. I think he might still be on one drug, but he's not on the massive amounts of drugs that he was on. And he has had one or two attacks, but they're not anything like they were. So, and
Yeah.
he's doing well for the most part. And he's on raw food, and they're cooking for him, not cooking, but every day.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And that's where you look at the health benefits of actually feeding the way that we are meant to be fed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a great book I read, Pharmacology, by Dr. Daphne Miller,
Mm-hmm.
and she tells the story of being on a dairy farm. Now, as Dr. Daphne says, is she goes, I'm lactose intolerant. She goes, if I have it, I'm down for 2 days. So
No.
at the dinner table, when she goes to this farm with their entire family, there's a big glass of warm milk sitting right above her plate, and she won't touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And the farmer goes, hey, something wrong with your milk? That's fresh. That's raw. That's right from the cow, not 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And she goes, I'm lactose intolerant. I can't. So
Mm-hmm.
as the farmer is saying and talking about the benefits of raw milk, she's basically saying of the fact that it's not been homogenized
Mm-hmm.
and that fat protein hasn't been broken down. So you're really getting down to not only is it encased in the fat, but you're actually taking a look at something that's healthier. So reluctantly, she drinks the entire glass of milk and she goes, I had no issues, no
Yeah.
problems, nothing happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, she's looking at it from that standpoint of really how we get it. And then she asked the farmer, she goes, would you drink somebody else's raw milk? And he's like, hell no. I don't know what they feed their cow.
Mm-hmm.
And he, as a farmer, realized that it's not just the milk, it's how the cow is fed.
Yeah.
Does it come from a biodiverse
Mhm.
farm and does it come from a biodiverse culture? So when we start thinking about what we're feeding our animal, when you feed raw, just like your friend's story, yeah, there are benefits that come to it because we are removing a layer of toxins that come from
Yeah.
kibble.
Yeah.
And we are removing those toxins out of the diet. Now your animal is not fighting that toxin anymore. It can actually fight what might actually be happening inside their gut.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's an amazing thing how food. I was on the radio show earlier today and I just kept talking about food and how amazing and beautiful food is. It's like food and dogs are like these beautiful God's gift to all of us. Food and dogs is the best.
Yeah.
But food can also be so mean to us, but it's because we have been mean. We've been mean to it first, right? Or been mean to the
Yes.
animals because it goes up and up and up the line. So what they consume is what we consume. What they consume is what our dogs consume. And then their environment and the toxicants that are in the air and all the things. I mean, some of these things we can't avoid and we only can control what we can control, but there are a lot of things that we can control that we need to take better control of, I think, and just have that understanding that what the animal eats is who we are. It's what it's if we see food as a language, which it is, everything that we eat, toxicants, omega-6s, their antibiotics, all of these things translate to us. It's the same thing.
Yep.
And the dogs too.
Absolutely. And so thinking about, I want everybody that's watching the show is thinking about that an ailment based upon the source of where it may have come from, down from the root of that source. So go really easy. Okay, if I'm allergic to chicken, how was that chicken raised?
Mm-hmm.
How was it, what foods did it eat? And really, am I not allergic to the chicken, but I'm allergic to potentially the food source on that root level? Because you are getting a little bit of trace element of that actual whatever toxin is inside that animal's body. I mean, beef is another one. So my daughter, she's 14, she's a teenager, and has acne on the side of her face. And at times it was getting worse, down the point she was getting eczema on her head. And we sat and started to take a look at, okay, where's the root? Where might this? So we suggested of doing somewhat of an elimination tactic, and we removed dairy from her diet. At this point, the acne has been under control. It's not flaring up like it used to, and her eczema on top of her head is gone.
Good.
So she was at some point dealing with an allergic reaction to the actual dairy itself. So it wasn't that she was a teenager and all teenagers get acne. No. This was something that was in there. So what was our ability? So I have a question for you. What are your thoughts on elimination? So if you notice your dog is reacting one certain way or another to the food that it's eating, what are your thoughts on an elimination diet?
I think it makes perfect sense. I'm doing a human course with the elimination diet that's included in that right now. So what I think with dogs, it's a good thing. I think if you want to do, doing testing is a good thing. The more information that we have, the better. So if they're in a really tough spot, if there's lots of itching, we do want to help them feel better, right?
Yep.
And I'd say with people too, if someone is just reacting to everything, what I want to do, if it's over, it's hard to say. So if somebody's really chronic and having a really tough time, an elimination diet can take a long time. And so it's great. But it might just be too much for somebody to take who's like, I'm really, really sick right now. And same with the dogs. We want to think about, I was looking up, there was a recipe for the itchies for dogs, and it's like coconut oil and oregano oil, and it can help, calm the skin. And
Mhm.
so we want to do everything that we can. So when I'm talking, with my dog, absolutely, I think doing an elimination diet, taking out the things that are typical, changing from, the conventional to the organic or the pasture raised, which is even better. And if there are other things, other foods, I would not say, honestly, to go try kibble to kibble to kibble, because that's not really an elimination diet. I would take kibble totally out. And then with people, if they are just in a hurry and they need to know right now, then we're going to do some other things. We might do food sensitivity testing. We might not. It kind of depends. But the elimination diet absolutely has a great place. And I think it's really good for helping to understand, but we still want to understand why the body's reacting. There's something deeper, because we don't just out of nowhere go, oh, I'm sensitive to chicken. So that was a really long, drawn out answer with not a true conclusion, except there is absolutely a place for the elimination diet. And like I said, it's part of my course right now. So yeah.
Yeah, and you look at, I mean, anytime that somebody, asks us or consults with me about dog nutrition, really, I'm asking about what the habits are and what they're doing and how they're doing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so then we'll start to get down to more of a base of saying, okay, let's remove these items out of the diet. For example, I had somebody that called me and severe itching with a dog, and found out that one of the habits is her and the dog sit on the couch at night and eat cucumbers. Not that it's bad,
right?
But I said, just for 2 weeks, just don't give the dog cucumbers anymore, because it's a vegetable matter that maybe his body is not digesting and really having a hard time. So it's causing an inflammation that's in there that's causing the itching. So what happened was, as a result, she stopped eating cucumbers. The dog didn't itch as much. So really, you can start pointing to, there's a couple of little things, but anybody can do this. It's really on that side of you being able to stop a habit that you might have. No matter how much joy you have with it, watching your dog itch is not fun at all. So because, as I've said multiple times, I think yesterday I said it on a podcast, is these things right here that we have are opposable thumbs, and that gives me the choice to open the fridge and serve the food that I need to serve. Leo, who's right here, he's whining right now. And if you saw why you're doing that, I was trying to pet him to keep him from, I was trying to get him to jump up so he'd actually.
Leo!
You guys want to see him?
Come on, Leo.
All right.
What's up, dude? Hi,
Leo. Leo's really more interested in me feeding him right now. Oh, Leo, do you want to? You're on the show right now, Leo. Pretty awesome. Okay.
That's amazing.
So, with all that, I think there's so many things that we can do as our. I'm going to say that we are our dog's caregiver, and we are dogs. We are in control of our dog's health, from what they eat to everything that they do. So when we start to build that up, we can take some control and take some steps to help our animals out.
Yeah.
So we were in debate. So I'm going to switch topics a little bit. We were in debate on whether or not we were going to say this, but you're seeing states, and you're seeing the people in states starting to take a stand over the social distancing, over everything that we've been experiencing with COVID.
I think mostly work.
Pardon?
I said, I think mostly work, the ability or inability to work.
Yeah, because we are a service-based economy, and there are so many people that are going to be struggling coming through. I have friends that are hairdressers that are sitting at some point going, I don't care, I'll come and cut your hair at your house. I'll do anything it takes just to bring some money in the door, because they're like, we're stuck. So what's happening in Colorado, Nikki?
So, and I just saw this just before the show, which is why it's kind of fresh for us. And we are not making this political. It's really more of an announcement. You do with it what you want. But it looks as though on the 19th, which is Sunday, there is going to be a protest, a rally, whatever you want to call it, at the Capitol. And in my opinion, if you want to go, you wear your mask.
So yeah, and I'm going to go with the side of it's tech issues. I don't think that we have Big Brother watching us at all in this, but we didn't get interrupted the whole time.
So So are you saying that as soon as we talked, so none of it went out there?
It might be doing it now, but it kind of looks like everything that we talked about just got cut.
So let's just do it again. Let's just play and see.
Okay. So for everybody that missed that, on October 19th, or I'm sorry, not October, April, you have to wait a while. On April 19th, people, citizens of Colorado are coming together to voice their opinion on being able to work.
Yeah. So it's Sunday. I don't have a time. That's what I was looking for, to see if there was a time. I don't see it, but it's Sunday the 19th. There is a protest. What if you did not hear us say this? If it was cut, then wear your gloves if you want. Wear your mask. Be aware. Okay, I don't know if that is. Sorry, I just got a notice. But be aware. Stand away from people unless you live with
your door, Nikki.
I know. I just kind of was like, is it something on Facebook? Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, if they want to, bar the storm for all this. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. Wear a mask, wear gloves, take care of yourself. Know the risks if you go. That if this happens, if you have family members that are immunocompromised or have heart conditions or lung conditions, why would you put them at risk?
Right. Don't put others at risk. Don't put yourself at risk.
Right. But if you're passionate about this whole piece, go. Make your voice heard, because you're a small business owner. I'm a small business owner. And at some point it's getting to, we've seen a decrease in business at Parsley Pet. I don't know if you have, but really you're starting to see, and we're doing everything we can from going online, having all this, but you're seeing so many individuals that are being affected by all of this. And we have a voice and we can say.
Yeah. And we should when we can and when it makes sense.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly, when it makes sense. So definitely we don't want to put anybody at risk. We're neutral on this whole stance. But really at this point, we're just making you aware that this might be happening. This is going to happen on Sunday.
Yeah. Last thing, I keep forgetting. She's so terrible. We have a sponsor.
All right. Yeah, that's right. And I forgot to stop you midstream. So
I have my reminder here, but I just, we just get to talking and have so much fun that, it doesn't happen. So Rightful is a company. It's a new company to the market, a few months old, I think maybe beginning of the year, something like that. And it's a liquid supplement. It's meant for pain relief, but it's also now they're showing, good data with, calm and focus and sleep and energy and all of these kind of cool things. And so it's all plant-based. It's in coconut milk. There's a morning and an evening supplement, and I have really enjoyed it. For myself, it's the sleep and it's the focus. And so I have, they want to support me and I want to support them, and they've been great. And so if it's something that you want to try, which I think you should, they're now being sold a lot in like pain management clinics. And so that's why we know it's working so well, is because, being picked up in pain management clinics is pretty awesome stuff. But go to rightful.com and put in the code TLN20, like Taste Like Nutrition, TLN20. And you'll get a discount on it. And I would love that, support them. They're another small company. We're all small companies just trying to do good things. I think that's what we're all about. And so yeah, go check them out.
And that's where I think it's right, that's why I was all for promoting the company. Rightful is everything that they're doing is they are providing a good, ethically sourced product out there to actually help individuals with pain and help people with sleep and all the things that we need to do as a society and as individuals as well. So definitely follow Nikki Burnett at Taste Life Nutrition. Follow her on Facebook. Incredible individual that is very knowledgeable about all the health that everything as you look at as an individual is how do I maintain my health and achieve that ultimate health that I know I can. Nikki's your person. Have somebody that supports you on that journey to total ultimate health. And then you can also follow us at parsleypet.com. Follow us on Facebook. We are regularly doing Facebook Lives, and we have some really good new products that are coming out. We are testing for glyphosate now. And so glyphosate is the herbicide they put on all of our grain. And they're seeing dogs are having up to a 10 times above limit amount of what humans have. So if they test a human and they see 1 part per billion, they're seeing a dog have 10 parts per billion glyphosate inside their system. Yeah. So what we're really doing is we want to help them, because not only do you get your results, you actually become part of a citizen science where you get to share your voice and hopefully make some change to actually our food structure in removing glyphosate from it. So
well, yeah, and it should be, because it's already been shown that it's a carcinogen. I mean, right. The data is there, right? And so why is this another reason we have to stand up when, if the data is there, it should just be removed? No more Roundup. Right. Anyway.
Yeah. No more. Just stop spraying it on our grains that we have.
In our fruits and our vegetables.
Right. So become a part of that citizen science experiment and figure out how much glyphosate your dog has. And I can actually help you through. So there's a consulting where $25, you can consult with me about your dog's nutrition for 30 minutes. And that's something that we can work on, removing glyphosate out of their system. And really putting a diet together that your dog is going to thrive off of.
Right.
So,
absolutely.
Nikki, thank you so much for today's show. I so look forward to this every Thursday.
Yeah, good stuff. I appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you too. So thank you. And I hope you guys all have a safe, absolutely wonderful rest of your day and incredible weekend as well.
Yep. Everybody have a good one.
All right. We'll see you later.
Bye. Yeah.